Good evening, parents, grandparents, family members, teachers, staff, and administration. Thank you all for watching, and welcome to the Northern Potter Class of 2020 commencement. It will definitely be one you will not forget. Even with the current situations in the world, our class is still grateful to have this night to celebrate our accomplishments. Tonight is the night we have all been waiting for. The night we walk across this very stage with our family and friends in attendance. The night you see your firstborn, middle child, or baby of the family graduate. The night we say goodbye to this chapter in our lives and say hello to the great things that lie ahead. The night we celebrate together, but for now, apart. This year has taught us more than any other. It has taught us who we are and who we want to be. It has taught us that things will not happen the way we want them to, but it will be okay. Throughout these past 2 years, we have learned a lot out of textbooks, but more from the people around us. Our circumstances do not define who we are, and we will come out on the other side stronger than ever. I know some friendships will end, but the most important ones will always be there. Tonight we are standing together in spirit, and to that I say to my classmates and friends, congratulations, you made it. Like the rest of the class of 2020, we could not have made it to where we are without some of the most important people in our lives. Personally, I would like to thank my parents for always being there for me when I needed it the most and loving me unconditionally. To my siblings, you have been my best friends since the day I was born, and I will always be grateful. To the wonderful teachers, staff, and administrators, we could not have had this special night without you, and thank you for always believing in us. Last but not least, I would like to recognize my advisors tonight for teaching not only me, but my class, some of the best lessons to ever be taught. To Mrs. Butler, Mr. Burdick, Miss Borrell, Mr. Hoven, Mrs. Hamilton, and Miss Miles, I cannot thank you enough. Before I draw my welcome speech to a close, I would like to congratulate Mrs. Bailey and Mr. Jones. Both of you did an amazing job being principal and superintendent for the first time, and I know both of you will do great things. Thank you.
Picture this. The year is 2006. There's children outside in the yard playing with sticks and rolling down hills, while some are sitting in front of the TV and watching Power Rangers or Dora. You're probably carrying a flip phone around in your pocket, and when you get a call, you'll flick it open and answer it. It was an entirely different era, and also the year we began our journey. August 2006. We attended preschool, we played with toys, and we learned the letters of the alphabet with Mrs. Kitch. We made new friends, and we slept during nap time, something I think we all wish would have carried over into high school and the real world. And through the years, we played games together at recess, we sang songs together at Christmas concerts, and we argued over who would sit next to who on the field trip bus to wherever we were destined to go that year. We grew together. We gained so many new classmates, and we lost some along the way. We always dreamed of the moment we would reach our high school years, to be the big kids, the ones who ruled the school, the ones who would make their own decisions, who knew exactly what they wanted in life. We would fall in love and create the best memories imaginable. And most importantly, we would graduate and become adults like those we adored. And well, we made it. We're here. The class of 2020, the year where we were quarantined. But most of all, the year where we overcame. There was a recent study in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships that said it only takes about 50 hours of time with someone before you consider them a casual friend, and only 200 hours before they become a close one. Our class has grown together, and we've been with each other since we were about 4 years old, some even sooner. And after 12 years and close to 20,000 hours together, I can say, without a doubt, everyone here feels like family. We may argue and fight, and we may be a little dysfunctional, but at the end of the day, we have each other's backs. I used to imagine that our generation would be the ones that would change things. I never understood the hate and the destruction of the world when there were so many things to love about each other. And we are all human after all. I still believe we're all destined for something great. I still believe that each of my classmates is unique. They have their own talents, their own personalities, and their own goals. And I believe that they're each going to do amazing things. I believe in us, the class of 2020, who have overcome so many obstacles since we began. And I believe Northern Potter has done a wonderful job in showing us that we are worth something, that we have more to offer this world than many others believe. They pushed us, they taught us, and they used both tough love and understanding and helped us shape us into who we have become. So, to all of the teachers and all of the staff who have followed us through the years, who have been advisors, confidants, and more than just a teacher for every single one of us, we thank you. They say that the connections you make in college and the real world are the ones that you keep forever. But the connections you've made up until now, those are the ones that count. They're the ones that have shaped us into who we are, and everything we have accomplished and will accomplish is all thanks to you, my fellow students, the teachers and staff, and most importantly, the parents. Thank you for your never-ending support.
At this time, it is with great pleasure I introduce to you the salutatorian of the class of 2020, Savannah Herring.
I would like to thank the people that made my time at Northern Potter worthwhile. Thank you, Miss Very, for always keeping band class interesting and for sharing all of your stories with us. Thank you, Mrs. Jackson, for keeping my head on straight and putting up with my stubbornness. Thank you, Mrs. Crosby, for making my volleyball experience so memorable and for helping me find my passion for the Spanish language. Thank you to the friends that stayed by my side through all of the craziness that we have experienced this year. And thank you to my number one supporter, Matthew, for always making me smile and laugh like a fool. Thank you all for being positive influences during my time at Northern Potter. Well, here we are, graduating. Not in the traditional way that we thought we would. No crowded auditorium, no lengthy award ceremony, no masses of teary-eyed parents. Instead, we are graduating over the internet together, but not really together. But on the bright side, we're still graduating. Our class is not new to being thrown into unfamiliar and unknown situations. Upon graduating from 6th grade, we experienced high school as every other 7th grader before us had. And then upon entering the 8th grade, things changed again, and we found ourselves right back in middle school. We have always felt like the class that was experimented on, kind of like guinea pigs. All things aside, we were ready to enter high school when the time came. And now, we will forever be remembered as the class of 2020, a time where people would hoard and fight over toilet paper like it was some great Black Friday deal. We came into the world as our country grieved the losses of 9/11, and here we are, graduating high school in the middle of a pandemic. Nobody expected this. Nobody planned to take our last steps in the silent hallways, walking a stage where we truly could hear a pin drop into the next chapter of our lives. Did we make the right memories? Did we say and do the right things? Did we achieve what we needed to achieve so that we can be all that we were meant to be? I definitely have some memories I will take with me. Goofing off in band, Mr. Burdick's wise words, no running, this is gym class. Junior year, when James, Dallas, Kenzie, and I all piled onto Mrs. Wolfinger's couch, beanbags and all. Mentioning ducks in Mr. Haskins' class so that we wouldn't have to do any work. He had such a passion for ducks and a weird obsession with collecting Ducks Unlimited magazines. Kenzie and I also had a blast in chemistry class. I had a lot of fun times over the years. One thing I know for certain is that you don't get a high school do-over. What's done is done, and what's said has been said. My hope for the class of 2020 is this: that you practice kindness. No one will ever know everyone's entire story. Choosing kindness is such a small, responsible act and can go a long way. Think before you speak. and work more to understand others than to be understood. Teach others to be peaceful. By actions, by your words, teach peace. Do not procrastinate unless you're really good at it, and even then, you really shouldn't. The class of 2020 is passionate. Stay that way. Continue to pursue those passions and don't ever give up. May you all find your place in this world. I know I'm going to do all I can to find mine. Thank you, good luck, and blessed be.
It is my pleasure to report to the Northern Potter Board of Education that after careful examination of the records, these students have fulfilled the requirements for high school graduation according to the mandates of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the Northern Potter School District. I am pleased to present them to you for graduation.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to present to you the 2020 graduates of Northern Potter High School, Abigail Jane Baker. Abigail has earned the Achievement in English Award, Achievement in Science Award, Achievement in Social Studies Award, Diana R. Downey Award, M&M Barnes Sales Scholarship, Northern Potter Community Award, Oliver W. Squire Humanitarian Award, Presidential Education Award, Northern Potter Education Association Scholarship, the Ruth Agar Memorial Scholarship, the Northern Tier Children's Home Scholarship, and the Emma K. Grover Valedictorian Award. Congratulations, Abigail. James Ray Bliss. Jacob Allen Bogan. Shane Michael Bosch. Isla Virgil. Lissa has earned the Carl A. Shelgren Athletic Girl of the Year Award, Haas Scholarship, and the Rose Marie Tubbs Memorial Scholarship. Congratulations, Alyssa. Autumn Faith Button. Clayton Jacob Cady. Emily Lynn Davis. Jane Fox. Courtney has earned the Presidential Education Award, the Mary Ann Walters Memorial Scholarship, and the American Red Cross Scholarship. Congratulations, Courtney. Gertson. Andrew John Hand. Savannah Grace Herring. Savannah has earned the Kawaneski Valley Quality Deer Management Association Award and the statewide tax recovery award. Congratulations, Savannah. And Teresa Renee Hess. Teresa has also earned the R.J. McCutcheon Memorial Scholarship. Congratulations. Melissa Nicole Hoops. Skylar Jade King. Skylar has earned the Northern Powder Community Award, Louisville Lodge Free and Accepted Masons Award, June Grace Scholarship, Mary Ann Walters Memorial Scholarship, and the American Legion Post 963 Scholarship. Congratulations. Dallas Martin Nauer. Paige Kosa. Emma has earned the American Legion Post 963 Auxiliary Scholarship. Congratulations, Emma. Aaron Joshua Lehman. Aaron has earned the awards of Gary J. Schaefer Senior Boy Athlete of the Year Award, Knights of Columbus Award, Haas Scholarship, Ulysses Chapter 95 Eastern Star Scholarship. Congratulations. Lisa Marie Lehman. Melissa has earned the Darlene J. Sipper Memorial Scholarship, the Oliver W. Squire Memorial Scholarship, the Louisville Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons Award, and the M&M Barn Sales Scholarship. Congratulations, Melissa. Evan Lewis. Jordan Ashley McClellan. Hannah Olivia Lynn Mole. Alyssa K. Reese. Alyssa's earned the Tone Family Scholarship and the American Legion Post 963 Scholarship. Congratulations, Alyssa. Travis Grant Snyder. Gavin David Soul. Ezra James Sproul. Ezra has also earned the Presidential Education Award. Congratulations, Ezra. Kiana Eve Tilton. Amy Maria Ann Vanderriff. Samantha Robin Masako Banana. Austin Michael Weeder. Luke Daniel Wills.
I am extremely pleased to introduce this year's valedictorian of Northern Potter, Abigail Baker.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, or whenever you happen to be watching this video. And welcome to the Northern Potter Class of 2020 High School graduation. Before I begin, I would like to take a moment to thank the Board of Education, administration, teachers, staff, my family, the allegedly tired and overworked parents, and last but not least, my fellow graduates. We made it. As our time in high school draws to a close and we prepare to begin the rest of our lives, I find myself reminiscing over the last few years. First, there was the Australian wildfires. Then there was the threat of World War III. And then a global pandemic. And that has just been the last 6 months. We survived the election of a new president, the impeachment of the same president, Zika, a refugee crisis, and Mrs. Miles telling us all, no purpling. We survived Mr. Haskins' duck stories and Mrs. Beezer's pacer test. We put up with Mr. Dr. McCorkle's Reese's obsession and Mrs. Butler's classroom antics. We even got through the mullet crisis. Most of us, anyways. On an unrelated note, I would like to mention the barbershops will be open soon. We discovered a little bit about ourselves in the Hall of Northern Potter as well. Courtney learned about her artistic ability, while Alyssa discovered her passion for softball. Ezra found his calling in mechanics, while Luke discovered his perplexing ability to say something profound one minute and something profoundly silly the next. Each one of us learned a little bit about ourselves because of the teachers and parents who support this school and the students within it. I mean, what other school has an English teacher that provides a constant supply of snacks for her students? I'm talking about you, Mrs. Wolfinger. As we go out into the world and begin the next chapter of our lives, whether it be entering college, joining the military, or obtaining a job, we can do this. Look at everything we have been through. In the words of Hannibal, we will either find a way or make one. This is something I feel the Northern Potter class of 2020 is exceptional at doing. Because even though we have lost our traditional graduation year, with banquets and senior nights, prom and parades, we still found ways to make this year our own. It was tough for a while. Those of us transitioning to online learning struggled, unused to the format and lack of structure. We struggled with not being able to see each other in person. We struggled with uncertainty, fear, and chaos in the world. However, our class showed great resilience during these strange times and created our own memories. We stayed connected using Facebook and Instagram, Snapchat and Zoom. Groups of us met 6 feet apart to decorate the basketball court in Ulysses with inspiring messages and pictures. The Aggies did what they do best and decided to help local support groups such as the Friends of Local Dairy Farmers. A few of us have been working on the front line of the pandemic in the hospital and in grocery stores as well. All while completing the last of our schoolwork so we could earn our diploma. Only it isn't just a diploma. That piece of paper represents so much more for each of us. This is why I asked some of my fellow classmates what it means to them. Some of the funnier responses I received were, "It means I accomplished 13 years of school from Matresa, and it's my next ticket for the roller coaster in life from Savannah." However, 3 responses stayed with me. They were from Autumn, AJ, and Jordan. To Autumn, it means she has accomplished one of the things she has been working so hard towards. She has fought for this moment her whole life, and even if it is not how she expected, she is still proud. For AJ, the diploma represents that the time he put in the last 12 years wasn't for nothing, and that he has accomplished something so amazing that some people never have. And finally, for Jordan, it means she has made it after all hard work and dedication. Each of these responders has one thing in common. Their diploma represents an accomplishment that they can be proud of. It represents the hard work and dedication that the students and teachers have put into getting us to this point, crossing the stage and receiving our diplomas. It represents that we, as a class, we're not going to let anything, whether it be a global pandemic or a terrible Monday morning, stop us from accomplishing our goals. It is that tenacity that got us here, and it is that combination of grit and determination that will see us into our next chapter. Before I wrap this up, I would like to ask you a question and then issue a challenge. First, the question: what motivates you to accomplish your goals? Was it your friends and family, or was it something else? And now for the challenge. I want you all to remember that one thing that motivates you and use it to tackle any challenges that you will face in the future. I am so proud of the people we have become and will become. We are resilient and determined. We are the class of 2020.
20 years ago, Colleen Wynick Henriksen was sitting where you are today, a graduate of Northern Potter, valedictorian of the class of 2000. She had a great deal of respect and adoration for her teachers, so she went on to study elementary education at Susquehanna University and soon found herself with her very own first grade classroom at Mars Area School District, that is. For the majority of her teaching career, she taught 3rd grade. Her husband Lawrence, also a Northern Potter alumnus, owns a technology consulting company in Pittsburgh, and they recognize that technology is where their worlds collided. After receiving her master's degree in instructional technology from Duquesne University, she became a K-6 instructional technology coach and is now a STEAM teacher for students in 2nd through 6th grade. Witnessing the gap between the number of middle school boys versus girls interested in STEM, she founded a before-school STEAM club for 6th grade girls, hoping to inspire all students to be brave, have confidence, find their passions, and follow their hearts. In 2018, Colleen received a scholarship from Honeywell to attend the Educators at Space Academy program in Huntsville, Alabama, and went on to finish classes in partnership with Columbia University to earn her NASA Endeavor STEM certificate. In 2019, Colleen was given the Pittsburgh Pirates All-Star Teacher Award and also accepted an invitation to spend time with other STEM educators at the United States Naval Academy. Colleen and Lawrence live in the suburbs of Pittsburgh, but they enjoy spending time with family in Potter County, visiting the Finger Lakes region, traveling around the world, and learning anything new and interesting. Please welcome Colleen Wynick Henriksen.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. In June of 2000, I stood on this stage giving a speech based on the Dr. Seuss story, Oh, the Places You'll Go. Little did I know how accurate that children's book would be over the last 20 years. At that time, I thought it would be my school successes that would propel me into my future and guide me through life. Surprisingly, my most awkward school moments and failures shaped me the most. Nowhere in my introduction did it mention that I had an incredible basketball career at Northern Potter. That's because I didn't. In fact, out of all the activities in which I was involved, I was the least successful at basketball. There were several embarrassing moments. So I was looking forward to everyone just forgetting that ever happened, and they probably did. But I didn't. Actually, the lessons I learned in my basketball career were the anchors that helped me stay true to myself and follow my passions over the years. In 7th grade, I signed up for basketball, not because I had mad skills, not because I was tall, but because I wanted to be part of a team with my friends. It was hard work though, so much more running than I thought it would be, but it was fun, and the end of the season came along with my first big piece of wisdom. Coach Morgan handed each of us a note card with things we needed to do to prepare for the next season. As a student who made it her mission to be prepared for every test in school, the 3 words on my card left me dumbfounded. Learn the game. What? I played a whole season and he didn't think I knew the game. I was embarrassed. But he was so right. I had no idea. So I did what any straight A student would do. I went home and watched as many basketball games as I could. I realized that our UConn play actually was from a college team, the women's championship team in 1995, as a matter of fact. Anyway, after all that studying, I was sure to be a star. Come to find out though, learning the game was the hardest part. I could not study my way to getting better. It was difficult. Practicing, failing, practicing some more. I almost quit several times. I spent the majority of my time on the bench during games. Seriously, if I had this watch back then, it would have said it's time to stand up about 4 times during each game. But I imagined watching the games from the stands instead of the bench, and I knew I did not want that either. My parents also knew I loved being on the team, and they reminded me that it was okay to not be the best. If I had a passion to be part of the team, then I should follow my heart and just work harder. So during the summer, my friends went to 3-on-3 tournaments, opportunities I would pass up. I wasn't good enough, and I thought I would surely keep them from winning. So instead, I sat out. Still, I worked hard and became a pretty good shooter and passer. My mom, who never missed a game from 7th through 12th grade, never told me I was the best player, but did say, "You are the best passer on that team." That was it. My role was to be a team player, and with that came feelings of success. My junior year, a senior by the name of Melinda Martin made her 2,000th career point, and she led the team to the PA state playoffs. While I did not shine in those games, I was on top of the world. I played defense against Melinda in practice, and one day after practice, Coach Green even said, "Colleen, why can't you play in a game like you play in practice?" I shrugged, but I knew. In my mind, practice didn't matter. I put all thoughts aside and took shots. In a game, I was afraid of making a mistake. Despite Coach Green yelling, "Take the shot!" I would pass every single time. In my mind, that was okay because I was a really great passer. If someone else made the basket, that was fine by me. I was a team player. By senior year, I made varsity. I had 10 career points, and I was proud of each and every one of them. My friends even made me a cake. But deep down, I was disappointed in myself. I knew I could have done better, but my confidence and my skill level were never quite in sync, and I ran out of time. High school was over. Actually, things were just beginning though. That unfinished business became my drive to take the shot. I decided to be brave and not worry quite so much about being perfect. I also realized that what I thought were limitations of growing up in Potter County turned out to be superpowers. For example, driving long distances is nothing. After all, if I wanted to go to the mall back in the day, I had to drive about an hour and a half. Fast forward to life in Pittsburgh. Apparently crossing bridges is a big deal in Pittsburgh. Funny being a city surrounded by rivers, but being willing to cross the rivers and drive more than 20 minutes has given me opportunities both professionally and personally. Instead of setting limitations, I decided to embrace them. I try to take the shot even if I feel less than qualified. Is anyone ever 100% perfect for something anyway? I decided to follow Coach Green's advice and play like I would play in practice. Sometimes I'm way off, but that's okay. When I make mistakes along the way, I try to laugh at myself. Whether tripping over the half-court line in a high school basketball game or suggesting a crazy idea to my work colleagues, I like looking back knowing I gave it my best shot. Seniors, take a moment to reflect on your school experience. What makes you say, if I could go back, I would blank? It could be social, academic, or something that fits you. Whatever that is, turn it into something that'll drive you for the next 20 plus years. This is just the beginning. Learn the game, work hard, hold on to your passions, and take the shot. Congratulations, class of 2020. You deserve the best.
On behalf of the class of 2020, I would like to start by thanking all of our teachers, staff, our principal, superintendent, and administration for making graduation possible, especially during these crazy times. But most of all, I'd like to thank all of our family and friends for being a part of our journey at Northern Potter. One memory of my class I would like to share is our trip home from the Renaissance Fair. Our class was tired, but we all thought, let's band together and ask to go to Sheets. Unfortunately, that didn't work. This memory made me think of how we have ridden buses for years. We would all get picked up at our houses and taken to school each day for the last 12 years. But now instead of getting on the bus, we're getting off, each at different points and on different paths that lead to new places and adventures. My advice for the class 2020 is where a trip you take, when you leave, never forget where you came from. Northern Potter will always be your home. No matter where your adventures take you, take your memories of being a Panther with you. Thank you on behalf of the class of 2020 for sharing this special day and helping to shape us into the men and women we are today. Now, my fellow class of 2020 members, it is time for us to walk off the bus and step into the world of adulthood. And to that, I wish for us a future full of success.